welcome to New and In Between, hosted by me, Mia Quinn Maddox, where I'll be discussing the hows and whys to my journey towards my faith. I've learned through my highs and lows that this path is not mine to travel alone. Join me mid journey as I embrace my wins, losses, and everything in between. Hello, everyone. Hello. I am Mia Quinn Maddox, and this is New and In Between. Welcome. Season 3. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone old. Welcome, everyone new. Welcome, everyone. Hello, all. So, today, as you see, I'm on the other side of the couch because I'm the guest. So, I mentioned in a previous episode that I was gifted a series written by Joy, who was on my show, Joy, and she gifted me this ten episode, like she wrote a whole series for me. It's so dope. So I've been kind of afraid to start it because it's really like a beginner's go-to for faith, like, not beginners like, oh, help you to believe in God, but someone who's like me, who always believed but just didn't. Basically someone who's relearning how to love God the way he's supposed to be loved. Okay, so that's what she wrote for me. So I've been a little bit nervous about doing it because when you do things, or when you write things, or when you say things pertaining to God, you want to make sure that you're correct. But then I had to put a lot of thought into it, and it's not about being correct. The proof is in it's in my life. I'm not making things up. This is not stuff that I'm writing. This is my life. I'm living it. I'm watching myself go through storms and still stand firm and still get through and break through, and I'm seeing everything work out for me the way it's supposed to. I have a friend who says, everything is going to work out for us. That's the rule, period. And I play that back in my mind all the time because no matter how much I worry, or no matter how much I stress about a situation, it always works out for my good. And I may not understand in that moment, but when all the dots connect, it's like, oh, now I get it. Now I get it. So I'm in that, in that space. But when I share my stories, I'm sharing it from a perspective of someone who knows. Like, I just got saved in 2020, for those who don't know, during the pandemic, and I was going through a time of, and when I say a dark time, I was still a happy person. Like, I was still blessed. I still was working. I never got COVID. I survived COVID without getting COVID. I've never had COVID to this day, thank God. Or maybe I did and didn't know it. But for the most part, I've watched my life improve so much in the last, well, this is 2024, will soon be in 2025. But I've watched my life improve so much. I've watched myself grow so much. I've watched myself get put into situations that I've been in before and react differently and feel differently and do differently. And it's amazing. And I want to make sure that I share that, and it's what I want. But of course, there's always a little fear that gets in that says, there's gonna be people who say you don't know enough, or you're wrong, or, and I'm ready for that because it doesn't matter. My life proves, the proof of my life is in the fruit you will see, the way I act, how I am, and people who know me know that. So I just wanted to, I like to give a recap of how I'm feeling, like the fear that I feel, and how I push through, because it's part of my faith. It's part of how it's part of my daily routine. This is how it's how my life and how my days are so good, even when there's something bad that happens, or even when, like, I have a bad few moments, or I might have a bad morning. I try to practice not saying I'm having a bad day. I don't know what the day is going to hold. Like, I had a bad few moments, and I go to bed and I feel fulfilled, and I set my day. I started doing this thing where I ask myself, how do you want to feel at the end of the day? And I say, oh, I want to feel accomplished. I want to feel at peace. I want to feel like I want to feel love. And when I go home at night, I don't feel defeated. And I don't feel exhausted. And I do be tired, but it's not like exhaustion. So that's working, and I'm seeing it in my day to day. And then I took on something that Torre said, and Torre was here episode previous to this one, and he said to think about the day as if you have 24. It's $24 million. Like you get $24 million in your account every day. And when you get angry or when you do something out of character, it deducts money from your account. So if you say you're having a bad day, you're gonna speak that over your day, and now your whole 24 million gets deducted. So I shared it with my sister, and now that's what we do to each other. So when I call her and I'm complaining about something, she's like, "Ooh, how much is getting deducted for that?" And it makes me stop and think about it, put it in a way of a perspective of like money. Every morning I get $24 million, and what I have left over at the end of the day doesn't go to a new day. It's gone. Like you want to end the day with as much money as you can, but it doesn't matter. You're going to start the day with 24 million, but I don't want to just be giving my money away to anger. So I've been working on those two things. So shout out to Torre for that. And I also have been, so I'm an advice giver. I feel like things that I say on this podcast is me giving advice from my life standpoint. But I sometimes I talk to people, and this one certain person, I think I talk to them and they don't listen. Like, not that they're not listening to me, or like they're not listening, or like they don't care. And she repeated something back to me that I said to her, and it basically just made me shut up. It made me shut up. Like, it made me so shut up. So, um, God is testing me. He's the advice I give, and this has happened to me before too. I give my nephew advice about respecting your mother, be nice to your mother, and then I get put in a situation where I have to be nice to my mother. Despite how I feel or whatever the case may be, and it happens immediately. And me and my nephew will be in conversation, or we'll be, we speak all the time. So then I'm like, "Oh, Maddie, I gave you this advice," and I'll let him know how I handle the situation, so he knows that I'm not just giving him advice from a place of not doing it. So I feel that, and I'm learning that. So let's get started. Wait, before we get started, I do want to share two things. So I went to high school with this girl, Denise, and she just launched this makeup company called Made Beauty. And she has a lip balm, a lip scrub, a lip oil. It's like a whole system. I didn't bring the whole system with me, but I bought the lip balm, and the lip balm is fire. And when I saw her post this on Instagram, I wanted. I was like, "Ooh, what's that?" Because it had this gold tip. The packaging is red. It was just so appealing, and she launched it. I ordered it. This is bomb. It makes your lips feel so good, and it has such a pretty smell. And then this is the red lipstick that I have on today, and it's bomb. This is a really good red lipstick. The applicator is big enough for my big lips. Sometimes you just need one stroke. You do too many, and then you're looking like the Joker. So I just wanted to share everybody. Check out Made Beauty. It's a liquid matte red. It is beautiful. You can see it right now how beautiful it is right on me. But I wanted to share that with you. And then I wanted to share this book again. I've shared this prior to, but I've started listening to this book, The Garden Within by Dr. Anita Phillips. I started listening to it now on audiobooks. And it's such an amazing book on the perspective of the body and stress and trauma, and how she compares our bodies to a garden, and how it just makes so much sense. It's such an eye-opening, heart-filling. It's such an amazing book. I buy it for my friends all the time, but I'm listening to the audiobook now, and I just felt like I needed to share it again. if you have not bought this book, or if you're not reading this, it's just something you need to buy and try. So I'm saying it again. It's on audiobook, so I've been listening to it, so I just wanted to share it again. So those are my two shares for the day. All right, so let's get started. So I'm gonna go off of what Joy gave me, because she did such an amazing job in writing the questions and just developing the episode for me. So I'm going to say the question and answer the question, because I'm two people today. So the importance of, like, I have a face routine, I have a hair routine, I have a, we have all these routines, and I developed a spiritual routine. And when I wake up in the morning, before I even get out my bed, the Lord is my strength. With that, whatever it is that I'm gonna go through for the day, no matter how, if I wake up and I'm tired, I start with that. I grab my phone, and I know you're not supposed to get on your phone as soon as you wake up, but I have the Bible U app on my phone, and they do a daily refresh every day. So I open that up, and it gives you a scripture, and it gives you a short little video, and then it gives you a devotional. And I read that, and I feel like whatever it is that the devotional speaks of is like helps me to get through the day. So I try to remember what that small scripture is throughout the day. And it usually really does help. But that's how I feel like I start my day with God. So if I start my day, all right, we're on the right foot. And I listen to music when I'm in the shower. I have a really great gospel playlist that I created based off of my morning. It's called Morning Blessings. I'll see if I can share it somehow with you guys. A Spotify. I'm a Spotify girl. I like Spotify. I love Apple Music too, but I just like Spotify. My preference. And I make sure that, I start my day putting really positive things in my mind. And when I'm listening to the music, it's allowing me to be reminded of, like, the power of God, because all these songs have, they're reminders in its own way. And then my day starts. And whenever I'm going through a difficult time during the morning, like traffic, or I find myself rushing, or running late, it makes it easier for me to say, "Oh God, help me," or "Mia, calm down. Like, it's gonna be fine. Like, everything works out for you, so just let it. Like, you're gonna get to work on time. You don't need to speed. You don't need to be all stressed out and start your morning." Like, I'm reminding myself of these things. Like, God got the day. If the Lord is your strength, then let Him be. And then it's just when you wake up saying that, and you listen to the music, and then you go through situations and you remind yourself, for me, it just helps to get through the day with ease. And I make it a daily routine, because they say, if you do something for 21 days, it becomes a habit. So I've been doing this for the last 4 years, and I allot enough time in the morning. And it's not a lot of time, because I wake up really early. So maybe 10 minutes in the morning while I'm stretching, I'm listening, I'm reading, and then my day starts. And I feel like when my day ends, and the way I want my day to end, it may not always go as planned, but for the most part, I always feel accomplished that I didn't react in the wrong way if something did go bad, or that the day was just great. Like, everything just went the way it was supposed to. And, everything was, some days for me be great. Like, everything just works out how it's supposed to. And then some days don't work out how it's supposed to. And when those days happen, I still feel accomplished, because I know I didn't react in the same way that I would have before, or I didn't let it affect me in the way that I probably would have let it before, because I do get put in the same situations over and over and over, tested over and over and over, and I feel like now the tests are getting harder because I'm advancing. So that's part of my routine, that works for me. And I don't have a large community, support community, but as I pray for, a new circle of friends, and and for me to be put around people who are like-minded and like, not so much like-minded, but like faith, like basically believe the same way as far as God is the the one. um I have some of those friends, and I'm being reminded when I'm put into situations and they pray for me, or I know, or they're inviting me to church, or they're sending me little things to remind me, or songs or scriptures. Like, I do have some really, a really, it's not a really big group, but sometimes a really small group is more impactful. And my group is growing a little bit because the people that I'm meeting, and it's different. So, um not all my friends, but I'm learning to, I'm gravitating more towards the ones that are. So, my support group of, when I'm going through something and I need someone to pray for me, like I have that. I have one or two people that I know that I could say, "Oh my gosh, please, I'm going through this. Help me." So, building a community of friends that get you a praying friend, get you a praying friend, and you don't know listen, get you a praying friend, because I have some praying friends. I know that I've gotten through some situations because of the prayers that my friends have prayed over me. So get you some praying friends. That is important. That is super important. And in my self care routine, like, time to self is so important. And I know that some people are just busy, like with kids and being wives and working. I mean, my life is busy just working, and trying to, deal with my family, see that I probably wouldn't have seen if I was mad about something, or get to experience because I was upset about something. So self-care is important, and your self-care routine is your thing. You don't have to get your nails and your feet done. Some people don't have that much time. um or it doesn't even matter. Whatever you do to let yourself relax and think, or not think, or just sit and just breathe, and just, my self-care, it's important to me. It's been a very, very, very important thing to me. I have a very stressful job, as I said before, and sometimes I just need that day, or I just need those couple of minutes, or that 20 minutes, that 30 minutes, just to breathe. So that's also part of my self care. So I'm going to get into the questions that Joy has written for me, and I'm going to ask myself the questions. So the first question: how do you fit prayer and community support into your daily routine so you're always vibing high and uplifted? That is a great question, Joy. So for me, my daily routine my daily routine of listening to good music, positive music. If I'm not listening to gospel music, I'm listening to people who have great music, like Cleo Soul, or uplifting music, so that in my mind, I'm always being reminded. I'm always being reminded. I'm always being reminded. I'm singing it. So the words are coming out of my mouth. It's just part of it. It keeps me on a level of, okay, this is happening, but I'm all right. Okay, we're just gonna vibe through, and I'm gonna be kind still, and I'm gonna be reminded that I'm, oh, all right. I'm gonna forgive that. I'm gonna let that go. And it's really because I start my day that way. I start my day that way. I listen to that kind of music. Ever so often, I'll set an alarm in my phone. They have these plans. They're called like a Bible plan. Some are 2 days, some are 3 days, some are 10 days. Um, they have read the Bible in a year, but I choose one and I'll read it for the week, and I'll set an alarm like for the 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it allows me to stop and have that 10 minutes of just self care, spending time with God, giving myself a chance to breathe, and then I can get back to my day to day. What's your go to method to get your mind right through meditation and reflecting on God's word when life gets overwhelming? I'm going to repeat that. What's your go to method to get your mind right through meditation and reflecting on God's word when life gets overwhelming? Me, I just go to my Bible app and whatever, like, for somewhere which reason, it's like whatever it's there, it answers exactly what I'm going through. Or I might be, I changed a lot of what I follow on Instagram because I realized how much time I spend on Instagram, and what I'm viewing is what I'm feeding myself. So I started following a lot more positive things, a lot more, um, and like I follow animals, I look at flowers, like just things that positive things, things that I like, things that bring me joy, things that make me laugh, things that make me smile. Because what you're feeding yourself, or I don't want to see the negativity. I don't want to see the news. I don't want to see the gossip. I don't want to see whose husband got caught with this one and who's going to jail for. I don't want to see that. Like I just don't want to see that because I've become an addict of Instagram. So if I'm going to feed myself through scrolling all day long, I feel like I should change what I scroll and help my mindset too. So when I'm going through, maybe it might be someone might have posted a Bible verse. And it's like, oh, I see that, and I read that. I might screenshot it and look at that, go and look back to that. Um, when it's like exactly what I'm going through. I was having a rough day a few weeks ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? And I'm like, okay, God help. Even that's part of part of how I meditate. I'll just 2 seconds breathe. Breathing work is so important, and it helps you to calm your body down enough so that you make good decisions, if that makes any sense, in the easiest way put. When I'm put in a situation, or when I'm overwhelmed, or when there's something happening in that moment, you feel it in your body, you get tense, you your breathing changes, or you feel like you're holding your breath. If I just take 30 seconds and breathe through it, it calms me down in such a way that I'm able to, okay, say, all right, this is what's going on. Okay. Or I'm overwhelmed. That's okay. And then remind myself again that God got it. I'm being tested with that right now. In the way that I'm like I want to react, or how I want to feel, or feelings change, and they change very often and very quickly. So I'm trying not to get stuck in a feeling or saying I felt, because I could feel that right now and then tomorrow I won't feel that. And I've already released to the person how I feel, and they can't get over it because they're not me. So for me, it's just staying on that. I mean, I don't have my Bible with me all the time, but staying in that Bible U app, it just gives me everything I need, and changing what I follow. So that's how I kind of getting my mind right is changing what I put into it. So I make sure that the TV shows that I watch, the music that I listen to, I think about some of the songs that I listened to when I was younger that we sang down, like I'm Going Down by Mary J. Blige. What am I singing about? I'm going down. I was 12 years old, and but in my world, I was, I guess so. But when you're being when it's weird. So for me, I'm like, I don't. My music has changed because I realized the music that I listen to is what I feed my mind, and what structures my thoughts and how I feel sometimes. So I mean, I listen to a certain rap music and I drive like I'm a race car driver. Sometimes when you're sad, you want to go back to that music, that heartbreak music, and it reminds you of heartbreak. I always ask people, who were you in love with when this song came out? Because for me, I could name very many people that I was in love with, to what that a certain song will remind me of. So for me, I just change the music that I listen to, and what I see, because I feel like it's feeding your mind, and what you feed your mind is what grows. So that's kind of what I'm changing my mind. Um, what goes into my mind is part of also how I'm learning to get through. So the third question: how can you use affirmations, self love, and wellness to tighten your relationship with God and show up better in life? So I spoke about the power of words and what we say about ourselves. And, for me, sometimes I have to remind myself that you are a good person. You are worthy of this person helping you. And I have to say it to myself, because if I don't say it to myself, my other thoughts will get so, oh, your own thoughts will kill out all the goodness. Oh my God. Sometimes I get so caught in my thoughts. I call it going down the rabbit hole. You go down the rabbit hole, and then you miss everything. You miss all the good of what's going on. So, I mean, it's important to how you speak to yourself. How you speak to yourself is so important, because it's you. And sometimes I would, and I can't remember what sermon I heard this in, but it basically said, the stuff that you say to yourself, you would never let anyone else say to you. So the first person who should be speaking to themselves in a great way is, treat others how you want to be treated. So treat yourself how you want to be treated too. So when I'm not feeling confident, or when I'm feeling afraid, I speak to that fear. God, I'm afraid of this. Help take that away. Let me just take that away from me. Then you push through and you do it, and then you say, "Oh, it wasn't that bad after all." Or I did that, or it worked out for me. I don't know. It's for me. It's just interesting, and it's becoming very, because I'm seeing myself say a prayer and get through something, or when I sit down to reflect over the day, and saying, "Wow, I really got through that," and knowing that I couldn't have gotten through that by myself, and not realizing that I didn't have anyone with me, and with my, with me in the physical form, but knowing like, oh, I was at peace with that. Like, I reacted differently. I know that was God. And I have to remind myself in that way sometimes. And then just telling myself, like, you did a good job. Like, I'm proud of myself. Like, we don't like, I'm proud of myself. Like, I'm proud of myself now. I'm pushing through. Whenever I say, oh, I'm gonna cancel and I'm not gonna do this, or what am I gonna talk about, or I push through, and then it's great, and then it works out. So I have to remind myself, like, girl, you're great. Like, you work hard for a reason. Like, I'm like, you are amazing, an amazing person. I give everyone their flowers. I have no problem telling people that they're great, but I don't sometimes believe that I'm great. And then I have to remind myself that you are, like, you did that, or you got through that, or you thought you weren't going to get through that, and you got through that. So what you're going through now is just a higher level, and you're going to get through this too. I talk to myself in my head all the time. I write down little passages from the Bible, and I put post-its all over the place, so that I'm daily reminded. When I go into my bathroom, they're on my bathroom mirror, they're on my front door. I put them on my refrigerator, places that I go to all the time, so that I'm reminded all the time. That's like an affirmation, and that's how I tighten my relationship with God, because it's like me speaking to Him continuously all throughout the day, just being reminded of His power, of His word. It's the little steps. I'm sharing everything that I do, because I know that I've seen the power of God in my life. I've seen me change. I feel the change. I see it in my movements. I see it in my actions. I see it in my fruit. I see it in my receipts. I see it in my life. People see it, because sometimes what you see is not what people see. But I know there's a lot of people who have, like I was. Like, I felt like I was doing what I was supposed to do. I believed in God. I prayed, occasionally, but I lived life the way I wanted to live life. And I never thought I had a second guess about what I wanted to do, or when I was doing something. Um, So I've watched my life improve. I've watched relationships be restored. I watched the happiness that came. I'm praying for, oh, I want to be happy. I want to be happy. I want to be happy. And I had to humble myself and learn forgiveness and be meek. And I'm watching these relationships be restored and my life improving and the joy improving. So I know that it's possible, and I just want to be able to share my life and the testimony of my life with people, so that if they're in question, like, I want to get there, but I don't know what to do. Well, here we go. This is what we do. This is what I do. Bible U app, very important to me. It's like my pocket Bible. My phone is with me all the time. We all have our phones. My phone is next to me. My phone is with me all the time. So with that Bible U app, it means the Bible's with me all the time. So it doesn't take. I open my phone to check Instagram, to to check text, to check emails. It takes 2 seconds, and it helps me throughout my day. So That's part of it. Finding a little bit of time to breathe, 5 minutes. Sometimes I don't realize how much I'm just holding my breath. Like, you don't even realize that you're not really just allowing yourself to fill your lungs and just release. I attended a workout. It was like a little a little like retreat, a day retreat, and they had a workout session in the morning, and we did the cold plunge and we did the sauna, and then they had the it was so great. And I don't remember if I spoke about this or not, but it's called the Sweet Honey Farm. And a really good friend of mine who I met through work, Sammy, shout out to Sammy. Sammy, she was coming into town and we were supposed to meet up and it didn't happen. So she ended up introducing me to her network of friends. And it happened to be one of the co owners of Equinox Gym. And she has a movement called Move Joy. So she did this workout and it was really cool because it was just basically starting off by stretching and saying what you were grateful for. And she had us doing movements and some breath work. And the way I felt afterwards was so good. I just felt like relieved. Just breathe. All kind of things. But you guys share your things with me if you have anything, because I mean, I have my things, but I'm always open to a suggestion. So please do suggest. I do read the comments. I do read everything. It's Remember, this is the one a two-man show. It's just you can't see the other person that's over here right now. Well, no, would be a guess. It's over here right now. Either way, wherever it is. So I hope that this was informative and helpful, and that you are able to get something from my little things that I do to help improve my day and relieve my stress and make everything work out for me the way it's supposed to, because that's the rule, period. This is your girl, Mia Quinn Maddox, and I'm out. Peace.